If you're just into reading something that is completely out of the ordinary, this video is for you. Hello. So today I want to talk about underrated books that I never see anywhere, and that I don't hear people talk about that often, and that I think they should. I think that these books are gems that deserve to be read. But also, I understand why perhaps these books are not very popular. Truth be told, these are all very, very weird books. All of the books I have to talk about today are weird. All of them, like no exception. You know that quote from Lydia from Beetlejuice? I myself am strange and unusual. Those books are strange and unusual. They're exactly like that quote. So if you're the type of person who just wants to read something weird, out of the ordinary, eerie, strange, original, out of the box, kind of like a little dark, but overall just very strange, that make you just either feel unsettled or fascinated. If you're into that stuff, if you're into those kinds of books that aren't not like the other books, you're just into reading something that is completely out of the ordinary, this video is for you. What do I have here? I have 3 YA and 1 classic / mystery. The classic / mystery, I don't have the physical copy. Unfortunately, I will be getting myself a physical copy soon. But let's start with the YA books first. So the first one I got here is actually the one that is not as obscure as the other ones. A lot of people love this series, but I don't see it very often. It is kind of like a very weird story, to the point that not everyone can resonate with it because it's too out there. And I get it, but that just so happens to be right up my alley. So for me, it's perfection. This book just feels very dreamlike, very haunting, very mysterious, eerie, strange. I'm gonna say the word strange so many times. I'm sorry. But overall, very lyrical, very magical. And if that's something that intrigues you, if those vibes are your vibes, then this book might be for you. And this book is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. Bear with me, I know that these books are not obscure, but they're also not incredibly popular, okay? I wish they were. But if those are the vibes you want, mystery, eeriness, kind of folklore type of vibe, dark folklore, incredibly out of the box, you should be picking this series up. I had never ever read anything like it in my life. I binged this series in 2 weeks, and honestly, I was going through such a hard time when I read these books. I was going through hell. My life was so incredibly uncomfortable when I was reading these books, and they kept me together. They were the reason, well, not the reason, but one of the reasons why I managed to survive what I was going through. And they were there for me. These books were my best friends. They were my therapy during that time. They honestly, they kept me going. This is a series. It has 5 books. And this series is called The Raven Cycle, by the way. The first book being The Raven Boys. So this is what it is about. Even if Blue hadn't been told her true love would die if she kissed him, she would stay away from boys, especially the ones from the local private school. Known as Raven Boys, they only mean trouble. But this is the year everything will change for Blue. This is the year that she will be drawn into the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys. And the year Blue will discover the magic does exist. This is the year she will fall in love. I love that the synopsis is making it sound like it is a romance. Purely. It's not. I would not go into this thinking that this is a romance type of story. Like, that this is what you want. If this is what you want, don't read it, because you're gonna be very disappointed. Yes, there is romance. There are 2 actually in this story, and they're beautiful, but this is not a romance book. This is a book that contains a little bit of romance, but it's mostly a very mysterious type of book. Really weird. The plot is just It's whack. It's completely whack. But I wouldn't, even though it has that premise that it is rooted in love, and a lot of this story is about love, all sorts of love, actually. It is not, don't read this for the romance. Don't do it, okay? Read it for the mystery of the story. This is a mystery at its core, and it has love at its core. But definitely don't pick it up for the romance, okay? If you're into tarot cards, psychics, folklore, Scottish mythology, but found family, most importantly, found family, and a little bit of love, then oh my god, you're gonna find all of this here, and I cannot recommend it enough. This is one of my favorite series ever. The second book I want to talk about, they're both, actually, the next two books I want to talk about, they're by the same author. She is one of my favorite authors ever. She's like an auto buy. Every time she releases something, I will be buying it. She's that amazing. But she tends to write stories that are a little bit on the weird side. Except for her first book. Her first book was pretty average. Not my favorite. Everything that came after that, 10 out of 10. Like, the woman is good. She's that good. But her books tend to be a little bit obscure, which really bothers me because I think she's so brilliant. I think she's fantastic and more people should know about her books. But the first one I want to talk about is called House of Hollow. You've probably heard of this if you're into horror, mystery type of books. It is not super obscure, but I feel like it was a little popular when it came out, but then it kind of went into obscurity. Not a lot of people discuss this book anymore. And why not? I don't understand. It is so good. It's so creative. I had never read anything like it. I'm incapable of trying to explain what this is about to you. But the vibes are so on point. If you like gothic tales, a little bit of gore, a little bit of horror, and just like a very wacky plot with a lot of supernatural stuff going on, look no further. But I'm gonna read the synopsis to you so you know what it is about. Dark, dangerous things happen around the Hollow sisters. Ever since they disappeared as children, only to reappear a month later with no memory of what had happened to them. Odd, eerie occurrences follow in their wake. When Gray, the eldest, goes missing, Iris and Vivi are left to figure out the mystery, but they aren't the only ones looking for her. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris realizes that the world that returned them 10 years ago might be calling them back. But just how much horror lies beneath the surface? The atmosphere of this book is so incredible. The vibes are vibing all the time. If you want something to read during fall/winter, this is amazing for it. Like, the atmosphere is so rich. Like, it sucks you in. You're there. You're part of the story. And it is incredibly eerie. If that's your vibe. I don't know if I'm going to put some mood boards here and here just so you can check out the vibes. But I say pick up House of Hollow immediately. Or at least wait until autumn because it's great. Highly, highly, highly recommend. The next book I want to talk about is also by the same author as I mentioned. And now this one is obscure. I have not met a single human being talking about this book anywhere. And I was part of Bookstagram for the longest time. I've been watching YouTube videos for as long as I can remember. And I don't see anyone talking about this book. I feel like I saw like maybe 2 people a long time ago. But it is obscure. And I don't understand. It shouldn't be. Even the title of this book is weird. It's this one over here. And oh my god, I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers ever. Look at this. It's so pretty. Whoever illustrated this, 10 out of 10. But it's called A Semi-Definitive List of Worst Nightmares. This is such a long title, but I love it. I love it so much. And I read this last spring. This is one of those books that it is kind of like, not like Other Girls, you know? It's this one, the main character is kind of like that. I wouldn't say Manic Pixie Dream Girl because that's not exactly her vibe. She is weird, but I adore her. I love the main character of this book. It kind of feels like a Wes Anderson movie, but darker. It's contemporary, so there's no magic in... Oh, actually, No, there is. It is magical realism, coming of age type of story, but it has a magical element in it, and it's important. I also had never read anything like this before. It was very whimsical and at times sad. This book deals with heavy topics. It has a sad element to it, but it can also be very hopeful. But it has a little bit of a dark humor, but it is very emotional, very quirky as well. Very quirky. I would say quirky is the word to describe the main character. But this is what it is about. Esther's family is riddled with fear. Her father is agoraphobic and hasn't left the basement in 6 years. Her twin brother cannot be in the dark. Her mother is terrified of bad luck. According to the family curse, they are destined to die from the very things they fear most. Esther doesn't know what her greatest fear is yet, nor does she want to know. So she avoids nearly everything, keeping close track of every phobia in her semi-definitive list of worst nightmares. Then Esther is pickpocketed by Jonathan Smallwood, an old elementary school classmate. Along with her phone, money, and a fruit roll-up she'd been saving, Jonathan also steals her list. And so begins Esther's ultimate challenge, to work her way through the list, tackling one fear at a time, including one that Esther hadn't even considered: love. So, there is a little bit of romance in this. It's very minor, but it is there. It's super sweet, very, very wholesome. So if you're into that kind of stuff, this is great for you. But overall, it reads like a very emotional coming-of-age story of overcoming fear, trauma, and of finding the courage to move on and to become who you want to become despite your fears and despite everything that has happened in your life. And it is about family, about love, about friendship, and about death. If this is your vibe, please read it. Even if you're a little bit unsure, just read it. If you love quirky characters and magical realism, oh my god, this is for you. And it just makes you think. It's the type of story that it just makes you think, you know? I will try to include mood boards over here and over here. I love it so much. This is one of my favorite books of all time. The last book I want to talk about is actually perhaps the weirdest of them all, I think. Maybe not. I don't even know. They're all weird. But this one is a classic, and it is from 1967 actually, and it was written by an Australian author. It is considered an Australian classic by now, and that is Picnic at Hanging Rock by John Lindsay. This book, where to even begin with this book? It's a mystery, that's for sure. There's a movie, actually, a 70s movie. I remember growing up seeing pictures of that movie and being so obsessed because of the aesthetics. Like, it was so aesthetically pleasing. Like, there was something about it that would just like call my name. I would be completely fascinated. I'll be looking at it like, why is this so cool? I don't know what to tell you. If you're a Tumblr person, if you were on Tumblr in the 2010s like I was, you have seen pictures of this movie and GIFs everywhere because the girlies were obsessed. Like, I'm gonna put a picture of the movie and some stills over here for you to see because you might recognize it. Picnic at Hanging Rock is surreal. It's absolutely surreal. It feels like a fever dream. A very whimsical fever dream, if that makes sense somehow. It is incredibly mysterious. I feel like I'm gonna repeat myself so many times because all of these books are eerie, odd, and whimsical. All of them. But this one especially, is something about it. Like, the vibes are there because the vibes are very, my god, the sun. Wait, can you even see me? I think you can. I'm gonna have to stay like this because of the sun. But basically, the vibes are just, they're cute. Everything is like so cute and so pure. Like, it's very pure. But then it's dark. The best way to describe this book is like, think of a doll, like a porcelain doll. You remember those dolls from back in the day with like the curly hair, They were made out of porcelain and they had like the cute outfits, and sometimes you would put them on a stand. Like these, I'm just gonna put a picture right here. But you know that those dolls are cute, but they're also creepy as hell. That is the vibe. This is it. If you want to understand, this is it. And it's also very nature like driven somehow. Like there's a lot of like nature is very important in this story, especially because it is set at this place called Hanging Rock, which is an actual place in Australia, and I've been dying to visit that place for the longest time. One day, but it is an actual place. So yeah, there's that. But this is what it is about. It was a cloudless summer day in the year 1900. Everyone at Appleyard College for Young Ladies agreed it was just right for a picnic at Hanging Rock. After lunch, a group of 3 of the girls climbed into the blaze of the afternoon sun, pressing on through the scrub into the shadows of Hanging Rock. Further, higher, till at last they disappeared. They never returned. That's it. That's the mystery. And you can't say this is a spoiler. They literally never returned. Like, this is just part of the book. This is the mystery, and you just have to read it to understand it. It's good. It's short. You can read this in a day. Literally, it is such a short book. All you want is like those cutesy, old, a little dark, early 1900s vibes with the cutesy outfits, like very spring-like. Like this book feels like spring and summer together. Like if that's what you want, but then you want murder and darkness mixed, and also like a fever dream, look no further. But if you just also want to read a classic that is not like your every classic, because I never hear anyone talking about Picnic at Hanging Rock, and I don't know why. It is such a strange but also incredibly entertaining type of book. And then you can also watch the movie. So if you just want to stop reading the same classics that everyone recommends every time, I say Picnic at Hanging Rock is the right one right now. It's also like something different, you know? Highly recommend. The sun is killing me. I have to go. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my video about the weirdest books that I have on my shelf. And if you're into reading something different, and if you just want something creepy, and you're the kind of person who just likes weird stories, I hope that you're gonna find something you like in one of these books. I hope you get to pick them up. If you do, please let me know. I would love to fangirl with you. Please, please let me know. I want more people to read these books. Seriously. But thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.